Brand new music from my man Jay Pyles. I Want It All right here, your inspiration station. Worship 94.5 FM. Told you earlier in the hour that we were going to be jumping on the phone so we can discuss not only this song but the EP Set Apart as well. But before we get into all of that, Jay Pyles, my guy, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good, just multitasking as usual, but we here.
Man.
First and foremost, let me know a little bit about your new single, I Want It All. I know you got the new EP that you just dropped, but you decided to lead off with this single. What was it about this particular song that made you want it to be the representation of your project?
Man, I think I want it all. It's just literally my testimony, bro. I feel like everybody can relate to going through a period of time in their lives where they maybe let the enemy have a little bit, really have too much, you know what I mean? Because we didn't think much of ourselves, or our faith wasn't where it needed to be in God. So we literally let things slip by us. But it's like, man, once we come back around, get our minds right, get connected with God the way that we need to be connected with him. So we realize it's really bigger than us, knowing that God is always with us and God is behind everything. It's like, man, I really want to go back and just, man, take back everything that the enemy did steal from me in the past and definitely move forward going after all that God has for me. So, man, I think that that's a song that everybody can relate to, everybody can appreciate, or even bringing back moments of gratitude or thoughts of gratitude just for, God remaining faithful and just carrying us through life, man, so that we can actually have all that he has in store for us.
Okay, and you had a little testimony of sorts on your song in the beginning.
Yes,
I would dive a little
yeah.
deeper into, but I want you to tell me a little bit about that because I feel that's another story that a lot of people can relate to. But tell me a little bit about choosing to pull the curtain back behind that one and give that testimony.
Yes, sir, man. So, well, I'm a PK. So, you grow up in church all your life. I said I've always loved God, always been a firm believer in him, but I just didn't want to make a quote unquote career out of church, out of ministry. So, man, I was doing R&B for about 5 years, man, doing my thing. God was blessing me to do great things in that. But, man, it wasn't until 2020 when God really, isolated me at the top of the pandemic. Everybody was quarantining and stuff like that. So it was literally a time when he isolated me from everybody else, and he just sat me down, really just told me that the gift that he blessed me with, he did that intentionally, and he did not want me to change that. He just wanted me to change the message of my music. So, man, at that time, it was like, in the beginning, it's literally just telling my story about my journey, man, starting out that way, but then, literally having that talk with God and, I don't know, just speaking to me to let me know exactly what he wanted me to be doing. And since I've been doing that, man, he's just been opening major doors. I mean, I'm doing interviews with people like you, you know what I mean? So evidence is there, man, that, once we find purpose and once we do what it is that God created us to do, then that's when we really start to see his blessing unfold in our lives.
Got you. Now, I do understand that you're the praise and worship leader, also a minister at the Tabernacle of Praise in Houston, but you also released your first gospel single in 2022. Did those two line up together, or how long have you been a minister?
Man, so I started my first minute. I stood for the first time in 2021. So my dad, like I said, my dad's a pastor, and I used to be a drummer. So I grew up playing the drums all my life. But once the pandemic happened, that just put everybody kind of a weird spot. So he just asked me to transition from playing the drums to leading worship, man. So I did that. About a year later, he asked me if I would be open to standing to bring the word. And I was like, okay, well, this is different. I definitely wasn't planning on anything like that. But, at this point, man, I'm just trying to give God my yes. So we did that. And, man, ever since then, I've been standing every third Sunday. So every month since about 2022, man. So I don't know, man. Everything's just been flowing together, honestly, bro. Since I gave God my yes, it's just been thing after thing. And God's been blessing it all.
So the EP is called Set Apart. And I'm interested to know why you chose that title.
Well, set apart, man, I just feel like I myself am set apart. A lot of people look at me and the last thing they assume about me is that I sing, and definitely not that I minister. A lot of people are like, oh, is he playing football or R&B or rapping or something like that? So just my physical appearance, a lot of times people are not expecting me to do what it is that I do. So I know that I am set apart in that space. But also, man, I feel like God really did bless me with a gift that is very unique. My sound is very unique. My style is very unique. I mean, I think that it gravitates to the people out there that maybe aren't as traditional, you know what I mean? Or maybe need just another route to get to the same destination. So, man, I think that God blessed me to just, look different, sound different, and overall be different, but for a good reason to reach that different crowd of people.
Now, you also own Disciples Nation LLC, which
Yes, sir.
is not only an apparel line, it's a record label, it's a nonprofit.
Uh,
You're doing a lot under that umbrella. What kind of pushed you in that arena?
so, man, it's funny. One of my friends, I'm from Houston, so Beyonce is a big deal. Well, Beyonce is a big deal all over the world, but being from Houston, she's definitely a big deal. And he was like, man, you need something for people who like you, man, people who support you, kind of like Beyonce has the Beehive. So I was like, oh, that's cool, whatever. And then he was like, man, you really like a disciple, bro. He's like, it's like you're a disciple for Jesus. And I was like, yeah, that is kind of true. And then I just looked at the word and I was like, wow, like if I literally just add a Y in disciples, that'll be my name, and it'll also, just flow. It'll be pretty obvious as to what it is, what it stands for. So, man, we did that, established that in 2020, and it's been growing, bro, so much, of course, on the apparel side. But, man, we were able to host our first achievement gala last year, which was amazing, man. And just, getting out in the community, being impactful, and, in community service and just outreach, man, it's been a beautiful thing. So Disciples is growing. It's growing, and I'm really grateful for what it represents and the love and the support that it gets from so many. We send out stuff to all the states now, man. I started out just, with T-shirts here and there, people at my church, local family and friends, they would support the brand. But now, man, we literally every month we shipping stuff out to all over the country, man. So I'm just grateful for what God is doing with the brand.
That's what's up. Well, we got that going on. We got this EP out right now. So when it's all said and done, and you have someone placing their ears on your music for the first time, checking out this EP for the first time, what is something you want them to take away from this experience?
Man, the thing that I would want someone to take away from Set Apart is just knowing that, man, our worship and our praise is literally, it's our authentic worship and our praise. It does not have to look like anybody else's. It does not have to sound like anybody else's. Our expression of worship and praise to God is simply that. So be confident in that, be comfortable in that, be authentic in that, and just know that that is reaching God's heart. You don't have to look like nobody else. You don't have to sound like anybody else for God to hear your heart, for God to receive your worship and your praise. And I think that that's really, really important. So I definitely pray that anybody who comes across Set Apart, besides enjoying the body of work, that will grow them and free them in that area to where they can know that their authentic praise, their authentic worship is very much so very important to God.
Love that. Well, I appreciate your time. We definitely have been spinning the record here at Worship 945, getting some love. So, I'm interested to see where this journey continues to take you. And once again, just thank you for taking the time to holler at me about it. And anything you need, just let me know.
Man, most definitely. And thank you so much for having me, bro. And thank you for supporting the record, supporting the EP. Thank you, man.
No problem. Well, you have a great one, my friend. I know you got stuff to do, so I'll be sure to reach back out to you as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, bro. Have a great day.
All right, no problem.
All right, lovers, keep it locked right here. I have so much more on the way. Your inspiration station, Worship 94.5 FM.